and jumping in kind of head first has definitely been a massive, massive learning curve. But I've enjoyed every bit of it so far. So glad to be part of the team.
I 100% agree with you. And I would even go one step further. I think you're an inspiration to a lot of Irish people that are possibly maybe not even considering moving out here. It may not even be on their agenda. But the fact that you've gone through this and what you've achieved in your time while you've been over here is significant, really.
But I was definitely intrigued, I would say. So replied to the email, sent on my CV, said I was a newly qualified teacher. Do they accept us? All that kind of stuff. And then got shortlisted to interview. So I had.
Hi, and welcome to the next edition of the Transform podcast. My name is Mark Ashford, and today we're delighted to welcome Darragh, who's one of the newest members of the Transform team. Darragh, how are you?
Good. Looking forward to it. A little bit apprehensive, a little bit nervous, but I think we'll be okay. We'll survive.
Hang on a second. You're used to performing in front of hundreds of people on stage, aren't you?
From time to time. It's something that not a lot of people know about. I think we're not famous yet.
Oh, right. Okay. But in comparison, how do you feel about performing on stage this?
Well, there's a lot of people over here that would know me in front of a mic, but yeah, this is a lot different to what I'm used to. I'd put it to you that way. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but brilliant. Really, really excited to be here. Looking forward to it.
Well, I've got to say, Darragh joined us only a few months ago, but in such a short space of time has made a dramatic impact and has taken to recruitment like a duck to water. But listen, tell me about you and tell me a bit about your journey and how you got to this point today.
Okay, brace yourself. It's a bit of a long one.
That's good.
So I started off, I started in UL. I did my undergraduate in physical education and maths. So I was a teacher like a couple other members of the Transform team. And straight out of college, I moved to Dubai, to the UAE, and I taught in 3 different schools over here at different levels. So I was a teacher, then I progressed to head of department, maths department in my first school. Then I transitioned on again, following my old previous head of maths to a new school. Ended up being head of year there for 3 years, so for sixth form or the equivalent of IB, so DP. And then got chatting to an ex-colleague of mine, Gareth, who you know.
Yes.
I reached out to him on LinkedIn. I just had seen that he left the teaching side of things. So I said, how's it going? How are things going with you? How are you getting on? And the opportunity kind of presented itself to come and meet you, and hence we're kind of here.
Fantastic. And how are you finding that transition from the teaching world, but staying in education, but moving more into recruitment?
Well, it's a massive opportunity, I'd say, first of all. I wouldn't say that I was in a rush to leave teaching. Like, I've loved it over here. I've been a teacher over here I was a teacher over here, I should say, for 7 years. The school I was leaving, I was having a great time there. I had lots of friends, colleagues that I got on really well with. I remember how this kind of transition to this scenario was. I went and met Gareth and yourself for like a coffee. It was more so like an informal chat to kind of explore what Transform are doing. And then as soon as I kind of listened to you, I was a little bit inspired. I'm not going to lie. That might sound a bit cringy now that you're in front of me. I was inspired about what values you had for the business and where you wanted to go with this. So with that, I was like, okay, do you know what? I'm going to think about this and see, am I ready to make a change? I spoke with my parents. I spoke with friends. I spoke with everybody. And they were like, go for it. If you're ready to go for it, go for it. So I'm finding it... It's not easy. It's a tough job. It's a tough job, but I'm really, really enjoying the challenge of it. I'm enjoying the change, I would say, more so than anything. The change from the classroom. And I think there's probably teachers out there that are also considering the same thing. And jumping in kind of head first has definitely been a massive, massive learning curve. But I've enjoyed every bit of it so far. So glad to be part of the team.
And I definitely think you've taken to it like a duck to water. I think your understanding of what a good teacher looks like, first and foremost, is there. Your integrity levels in terms of understanding the importance of placing a teacher into a school, and the right teacher in front of a school is also there. But I think your success to date has been significant. Why do you think you've got that?
Okay, it's a tricky question. I think my understanding of the recruitment side of things from being on the flip side has been my key kind of, how would you describe it? Benefit.
Yeah.
So from that transition. So I was head of maths, I was head of year. I was involved in interviewing processes in both of those schools that I used to work in. I was part of that screening process in school. So I understand that you get thousands of applications, and I understand how to pick out the ones that are going to be applicable for those schools. So I think that's probably the key reason for the success I've had to date. I wouldn't say I've cracked it just yet, but I've definitely improved and learned an awful lot. But my previous experience is definitely lending itself to where I am now.
Brilliant. So let's rewind back a little bit then. So you're in Ireland. What made you come to Dubai to teach out here?
If I'm being transparent, one of the core values, if I'm being transparent, I was in my final year in university. I remember I was sitting in the UL library. For anyone who was in UL, you know exactly where that is. I was sitting beside two other friends of mine. One was Dean, who ended up moving over here with me. We got an email from a recruitment agency about potential PE roles in Dubai for September starts, for August starts actually. And I wouldn't say sold on it. Like I didn't see the opportunity and go, I'm definitely going for this. But I was definitely intrigued, I would say. So replied to the email, sent on my CV, said I was a newly qualified teacher. Do they accept us? All that kind of stuff. And then got shortlisted to interview. So I had to go to Dublin for the first round. There was 2 rounds interview. Dublin for the first round, and yeah, got on really well. Asked me back to the second round. We had to do like a demo lesson again in Dublin. So train up from Tipperary. For anyone who's Irish, you might know Limerick Junction. Jumped into the hotel, did my demo lesson. Then about a week after that, again, I was just after graduating, so it was like July. A week after that, I got an email saying, you've been successful in your job, or your application, I should say. Are you willing to make the move to, it wasn't even Dubai, it was UAE, is what was on offer. So I turned around and said, again, chatted to my parents, chatted to friends, didn't really know what I was signing up for, if I'm being honest. And I just said, I'm going to go for it. What have I got to lose? That was kind of it. Now 7 years later, I'm still here.
Wow. And then since you've been in Dubai then, what sort of things have you done to make it feel like home for you?
Well, the initial transition is definitely challenging, I would say. It's like I remember being like 2 weeks, 3 weeks into being my first time away from home. Obviously, I'd been to university. I wasn't living in my parents' house, but you're still close to your roots or your hometown. I was like 40 minutes to my university from my hometown in Tipperary. It's a long way.
It's a long way to Tipperary.
And yeah, I found it challenging at the start. I did. It's your first time being away from home. You miss family, you miss your friends. It's a massive step. I was only 22, and the support you get when you come over here is immense, particularly from the Irish community, I'd be saying. So there's a saying in Ireland, it's like always look after your own, which in fairness, everyone does over here. But the main outlet I had when I joined or when I moved over here was I had 2 friends who were over here previously. Dean, the guy from the library, was actually one of them. He came in June, I came in August. And they joined Dubai Celts. Shout out to Dubai Celts if there's any of them out there watching this podcast. It's a hurling and football club over here, one of 5 now in Dubai alone, not just the GCC. And as soon as you go there, you're totally immersed in the Irish culture side of things, which obviously makes it easier to transition over. But you make friends literally the first day you go. So at the start of the football season, hurling season, we run like a memorial tournament for someone who's sadly passed away, who was over here previously. And there could be 200 people at it, 200 Irish people, new people, old people, people who've been here for 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, whatever it might be. And it's a mixed tournament, male and female. So we play football in mixed teams, very social, very like no pressure at all. And you get to meet everybody that first day.
Wow.
So literally immediately after that, you have a network of people that are almost like your, how would you describe? You're almost like your support, your support network, your family over here, like straight off the bat. So from that moment on, you're training 2-3 times a week. You're meeting up with your friends, and you just have that kind of support really off the boat. They would nearly say back in Ireland, like, yeah.
So if you were advising people arriving from Ireland into Dubai specifically, what sort of communities are available to them? What would you advise them to do first?
Honestly, it's not even Dubai. It's across the GCC. So
Amazing.
the GAA, for anyone who's Irish, knows how important it is to us culturally, both at home, but it has equally a massive significance over here. So if you're a teacher in Qatar, if you're a teacher in Bahrain, if you're a teacher in Saudi, if you're a teacher in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Oman, any of these places, they all have GA communities within them. So in different emirates or in different countries, they might be bigger or smaller, but you still get that same support network. So that will be my first port of call, definitely. Another one is actually soccer, football. You've Dubai Irish over here is a massive club. I know there's similar clubs in Abu Dhabi as well. So if you don't play hurling or football, could be an opportunity for soccer. Actually, touching on that as well. Sorry, going back to the GAA side of things.
Yeah.
So most people are kind of daunted by Gaelic football or playing hurling back at home. And over here, there's kind of structure levels to everything that is available to people. So there's a massive social element in terms of
Brilliant.
what people have on offer. So like I used to help out coaching some of the ladies football teams a few years back. And on a Monday night, you could have 140, 150 ladies.
Wow.
And that's a mix between the elite players who would have played county football at home and people who are playing for the first time. So there's people from the UK even playing, people from, we got an American guy playing for Kerry Middle East.
Wow.
There's people from all over the world getting involved because that community is so tight and so important.
That's incredible.
It's brilliant.
That's so good. Okay. When you came to Dubai, what exciting things did you do in your spare time?
Again, to be honest, most of it will lean back to the GAA was my initial kind of port of call. But outside of that, once you kind of build your friend network over here, one of the main things that we looked at doing was just traveling.
Okay, tell me about your traveling.
God, I don't know where to start with it. So yeah, when I came out initially, I was 22. There was probably 25, 30 guys in our friends group that were all of a similar age. We were all single. We were all looking to kind of see the world as part of our transition over to the Middle East. Because of where it's situated, it kind of opens the doors to places that you wouldn't have seen before.
Tell me about your best traveling experiences that are a must-do for people coming over to the Middle East.
It's kind of a tricky question to answer because every place is so unique and so different that the experiences you can actually have are kind of chalk and cheese, I guess you could say.
But if you had to kind of pick maybe one or two, what would you?
Definitely, yeah. So South Africa is still my favourite country I've been to, I think. Out of those 50, South Africa is number one. You have everything. We went for 2 weeks. We rented big, massive Jeep, like kind of 7-seaters, let's say. Drove down the garden route from... So we flew into Cape Town, then flew to Port Elizabeth, drove back along the coast, and it was like every day was a highlight. So like one day you do a bungee jump, Brooklands Bridge. I didn't do it. Notably, not for me. I'm afraid of heights. Sorry for anyone watching. So didn't do that. The next day you're like shark cage diving. The next day you're on safari for 2 days in an enclosure.
Wow.
The next day you're in Cape Town. You're having your night out. You're doing all the usual stuff. It's unbelievable country. Like that would be my first stop. In terms of unique experiences, then there was a midterm that me and 4 teachers in the school. So me, Connor, Paul and Sean, all Irish, shock. Yeah. All Irish. We went to Uganda.
Wow.
To a place called Buwindi Impenetrable Forest.
Okay.
So it's definitely impenetrable. It's literally the most dense forest I've ever seen.
Wow.
In my life. And there's a specific reason why you can go there. So it's on the border with Rwanda. And you go there to gorilla trek, essentially, is what it is. So
amazing. Did you see any gorillas?
So you're allocated a time with a family of gorillas. They're totally in the wild, natural.
Wow.
You have a couple of guides that go with you, and yeah, we rocked up to camp. Let's say that first morning, and they were like, "Okay, let's go." So we jump in the back of a van. There's a guide who'd gone out previously that morning to find whereabouts the gorilla family was, which is a crazy sentence to say in the first place.
Wow.
But yeah, then you kind of trek through the forest, like literally guys with machetes cutting the branches down, and you bump into a family of 12 gorillas, let's say.
Oh my gosh! But I mean that's incredible.
Yeah, so I'll never forget it. I was at the start of the queue, me and Paul, another friend of mine, and everyone was being quiet. You're obviously a little bit apprehensive and scared. and there was a massive silverback gorilla like staring at us, and we were like
scared.
We were taking pictures, thinking this is class. This is so cool. And he barreled towards us, went honestly this close to Paul's face, not mine. And Paul fell down the hill, broke a load of bamboo shoots.
Oh
and
my God.
Yeah, that was it. It honestly, that's the most unique one, 100%. So unique wise, definitely Uganda. Quality wise, in terms of activities, South Africa. If you're looking for beaches, everyone thinks Thailand. Go to the Philippines. Philippines number one as well. Yeah, Philippines is a brilliant place to go as well.
Amazing. Whereabouts in the Philippines?
Everywhere.
Oh, really?
So we landed in Manila. We flew to Cebu. There's a place called Palawan as an island. El Nido is the name of the town. It's like tuk-tuks on like dirt roads, and you can just chill out there that was my favorite island or kind of beachy place, I guess you could say, that I've been to. Brilliant. It's totally secluded and paradise, like total paradise. But again, all of these experiences I wouldn't have had unless I moved over here. So like I've had friends who since traveled from Ireland to El Nido, and it's almost like they're waiting for a year planning the trip.
Yeah. 2
weeks prior to that, we were like, let's just fly to the Philippines. So
spontaneous.
The opportunities in that regard are endless.
What about opportunities in the Middle East? Where have you visited locally?
And notable places. Been skiing in the Middle East 3 times. So you can go to Georgia, a place called Gadawi, really, really good, great value. Azerbaijan, a place called Shadag. And then Kazakhstan, we went to Almaty.
Wow.
So skied 3 times, still a terrible skier, but definitely enjoyed it. But totally different again from anywhere that would be accessible to you if you're at home. The standout place, probably Jordan, I would say.
Did you do Petra?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So land into Jordan, and again, could be done a long weekend, 3 nights. We arrive into Amman. We went straight to, where did we go? We went to the Dead Sea. So we're floating in the salt and the mud.
Amazing.
On to Petra the next day, tour around there, walk around for hours, hikes, beautiful. That's out of this world. Like, cannot describe how amazing that is. And then you drive to a place called Wadi Rum.
I've heard of it.
It's on the border with Saudi, and it's like Mars. It's like a different planet.
It's where they film a lot of the
Martian and all those films. Yeah.
It's amazing.
And they filmed Lawrence of Arabia there as well. Now, that's before my time. Might be your time. Maybe a little.
Cheeky. Brilliant. I love it though.
So some great experiences in terms of that. Like, you were opening doors that you wouldn't normally have access to if you were back in Ireland or back in the UK. And because of where Dubai is located, or where, to be honest, anywhere in the GCC is located, it's so accessible.
Amazing.
So like Zanzibar, 4-hour flight from the UK, you're talking 10 hours of traveling. You know, all that kind of stuff is just so accessible. It's brilliant.
And cost-wise, is it expensive to do all of these trips?
And it's a fraction of the cost compared to what you pay at home.
Wow.
But I think it's a lot more, or it's a lot easier to do from here because of probably the salaries you're on as well.
Right.
So what's expensive in Ireland in terms of traveling doesn't necessarily translate to what's expensive here, because you obviously have the tax-free element.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a flight that's costing, or could have costed €1,000 back in Ireland, isn't as much as what it kind of translates to here, I guess. So everything becomes a little bit more affordable. But in terms of country to country, it depends on the place, really. You know, some places are really expensive. We were in China, Korea, and Japan last March for 3 weeks. That was probably a little bit of an expensive one.
Sure.
Expensive one, but again, like, I wouldn't save a penny in terms of travel.
Yeah.
It's because you see so much of the world. The experiences you get are second to none. So spending money on that kind of stuff, I just have never had a problem with.
Amazing.
And I'd recommend that to anyone, definitely. So if you're here, get the checkbook out and get traveling, definitely.
Brilliant. Tell me about your band. So were you together before you were in Dubai? But how did you form?
So the band is kind of a funny story, or a unique one. So is the name of the band is Glow. Like and subscribe, as you would say.
Yes.
We are on Instagram, so you are more than welcome to follow us.
Yeah.
It was the female vocalist Roche. She got in touch. She was kind of the glue, I guess. She knew everybody, but we didn't all know each other. So she just kind of created a WhatsApp group and said, there's a new location opening in Dubai. They're looking for Irish music. Do you want to kind of sit down, get together, and see if we can start playing a few tunes? And yeah, we just kind of started. started really, really well, and just literally the first 2 years were crazy, just took off totally, playing every weekend. And now two of the girls are involved an awful lot with Ceoltas, which is an Irish organisation back home for Irish traditional Irish music. They have like trad sessions every weekend now. There's in a couple of different locations. If you want to know where they are, let me know. Just write to me. But again, that's another layer to the Irish community that we probably haven't touched on yet. Which it kind of stems from the GAA, again, a lot of it. But yeah, brilliant. Fantastic. The music side of things is definitely alive and kicking over here as well.
Good. And tell me about your golf, because we went for a round of golf, and Darragh failed to tell me that he's next to professional, playing off pretty much scratch. And I found out the hard way when he said, "Yeah, let's play per hole."
I think he still owes me that 100 dirham. I'm not sure. Yeah.
But Darragh, tell me about your golf. How often do you get to go out and play?
Yeah, the golf over here is brilliant. Again, last weekend I was volunteering at the DP World Tour, which is another opportunity that you wouldn't get back in Ireland.
Wow.
So I was up close with all the players. But yeah, the golf side of things is brilliant. There's societies for everyone. We're actually talking about setting up a Transform one at the moment, or I'm looking into it. So I'll be adding anyone to that who does decide to make the move. There's Dubai Irish Golf Society. There's, again, from anyone who's a scratch golfer to a newbie, there's a place for everyone, and everyone's more than welcoming. In terms of the golf courses that are available to you, like second to none. Like incredible facilities, incredible tracks, incredible holes that, again, you probably wouldn't experience. And part of that is due to the design that's over here. They have like a kind of a strange desert links kind of style course or courses over here that are brilliant. And there's teachers playing, especially with the days off on Friday in Sharjah, or the half days on Friday from schools. Now Friday is a popular one.
Tell me about your travelling.
Yeah, so that the travelling side of things has been immense. I'll put it to you that way. Something that I knew I'd do when I came over here, and was probably part of the reason that I came, but didn't realise the scale of how much I'd be doing.
Okay.
So since I've been here, I've been to nearly 50 countries.
Wow.
50, not 15. For anyone who's listening, yeah. Incredible. Nearly 50 countries, and they're scattered between the Far East, Southeast Asia, the Middle East. There's actually some really great countries to visit in the Middle East outside of the UAE. I've been to 7 or 8 countries in Africa. South Africa, number one highlight for anyone who's looking to move over.
Okay.
Amazing country. Last summer went to, where did we go? To so many countries. We went to Guatemala, Mexico, Belize.
Wow.
During our time off. So honestly, we've seen so much of the world, and it's purely from making that move to the Middle East. Again, we have a group of friends over here. When we initially came, we set up like a WhatsApp group, and we've been the lead up to like a break within the schools. We might have a week off, we might have 2 weeks off, and within that it could be a case of, okay guys, where are we going? And it wouldn't be like a massive plan that we were looking forward to for months and months and months. It was like spur of the moment, let's go to the Philippines. Spur of the moment, let's go to Uganda, gorilla trekking, whatever it might be. So had some amazing experiences travel-wise, and made some huge friends from it.
Wow. So how do you get involved with something like that? Is it just a group of your friends? Is it something that is it readily available, or?
It's just a kind of done thing. It's like,
that's so cool.
It's hard to describe, to be honest. So you have your friends group who are all doing it, but then there's other friends groups who are doing similar things. What ends up happening is you go to like Japan, everyone runs in together. They're all on the same itinerary. So there's a huge crew of like Irish, UK teachers from anywhere really that are all on the same route, and you just have a great time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what about the school holidays? Did you ever go back to Ireland, or do you ever go back to Ireland yourself? Or
you get the opportunities to go back. So I went back nearly every Christmas, I'd say. So we finish in the UE earlier than, well, across the GCC actually, earlier than you would in Ireland. So we would leave around the 12th of December, whereas most schools in Ireland finish 22nd, 23rd.
Amazing.
So you get that full stretch up till New Year's, even beyond. So you get 3 weeks of Christmas, which is probably the best time of year at home, really, to be honest, bar the weather. And then you 6 weeks in the summer, you can get back for 2. We have that break in March, end of term, can be 2 or 3 weeks depending on holidays that are allocated that year. And you can use that time to go back if you want. And do you know what? It's so accessible in terms of the flight. That's one of the main draws for me, that again, the community at home is so important. Family is so important to anyone who's Irish.
Sure.
That it's only a 7-hour flight. It's not, let's say, Australia, which seems like a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
You know, so home is always there whenever you need it.
So I think a lot of people are going to learn an awful lot from your experience. But the most important thing is you're going to change so many people's lives by them being able to come over here as well. So, yeah.
Well, do you know what? Like for me, I think it's, if you're considering it at all, I think it's worth jumping at. Do you know? There's not much to lose from making the move over here, is what I would say. Like, you're losing the rain at home, probably is the main one. You're getting the sun, the sand, you're getting the opportunities to travel. You're actually getting huge opportunities to progress professionally. So there's not much to lose. You can stay at home, and as I said before, home is always going to be there. You can go back at the drop of a hat if you want to. So I'd encourage anyone to kind of make that move, 100%.
Exciting times. Really good.
Yeah.
Okay. What does the future look like for Darragh?
You'll have to answer that one. Yeah, it's tough. It's hard to know, really, you know. Obviously, I was a teacher before, as I said. I've transitioned into that kind of recruitment sector, which has been really, really interesting, really exciting. And I'm loving it so far. So at the moment, I'm just enjoying the ride with it, really, to be honest. Lots of ups and downs. I've learned an awful lot. But I'm going to stick with it, I think, because I'm enjoying the kind of facilitating teachers into the right positions or right roles, right schools as well. So it's interesting. What does the future hold is a tricky one. I'd never say never about anything, but at the moment in my head, I'm going to be going transform, I think, all the way.
Love it.
100%.
Well, I've got to say, you're part of the journey right at the very beginning. And the way things are going, I think you're going to be an inspiration not only to Irish people wanting to come over to Dubai, but also potential consultants who are going to be coming to Transform as well. So a key member of the Transform team.
Oh, hopefully. I hope so.
Thank you so much for your contribution today. I think you're going to help a lot of people in making informed decisions of what they want to do. So for those of you maybe in Ireland or across the world, how can people get in touch with Darragh?
Social media be the main one. So I'm active on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Instagram. I have actually a Transform account set up. So just DM me on any of those accounts. I'll share my email details too below and just reach out.